You became who you needed to be in order to survive. Now, it's time to become who you need to be in order to thrive.
Hi friends! So I wanted to share that quote, and I wanted to use that quote in a reel because I think it's really powerful and says so much about the kind of cyclical living journey. So if you didn't watch the reel, go back and watch it, but it just says, you became who you needed to be in order to survive. Now it's time to become who you need to be in order to thrive. And it really stood out to me because it really makes me think of something I can't even count how many times I've heard, which, in my work as a cyclical living mentor and as a yoga teacher also, I can't count how many times I've heard, I wish I knew all this sooner. I wish I knew all of this years ago. And I just want to remind you that you did your best based on what you knew at the time. You did the best that you could based on where you were. It's really tempting and easy to fall into that pattern of thinking, I wish I knew all of this sooner. I've been doing so many things wrong, and sort of punishing yourself for not seeing the quote-unquote mistakes you were making, or for thinking, I should have done this, or I could have done that. Yes, it's right to feel upset about that and maybe even grieve that to a certain extent, and to feel rage even about those things and anger. Like, yes, that's valid. And also, it might be more powerful to instead give yourself a little grace and accept, like, I did my best with the knowledge I had. I did my best with everything else I was dealing with and everything else I was struggling with in life. And now it's going to be more powerful and serve me better to look to the future and focus on that version of you who is growing and learning better and doing better, that version of you who is ready to thrive. And so I kind of shared about that in the caption if you want to go back and click on that reel and read it. But instead of focusing on, oh, I did all of these things wrong, or feeling angry or frustrated, I think it's right to feel angry and frustrated, and also let's not direct that at you, because you were doing your best with the knowledge that you had, with the education that you had, with the options that you had. And so remembering not to direct that frustration at yourself, frankly, just because it doesn't feel good and it's not productive, and instead focusing on that thriving version of you that you're now taking steps towards embodying more fully and towards aligning yourself with that version that you desire. So a really amazing opportunity coming up this weekend to begin to more fully step into that thriving, happy, healthy version of you is, of course, what I've been talking about all week, the Work With Your Cycle Masterclass. So in this masterclass, we're really setting you up with everything, the knowledge and the tools that you need to build healthier, more regular, more pleasurable, less painful cycles, really more fully understanding the role of your menstrual cycle in your life, and giving you the deeper awareness to examine your relationship with your cycle and how that plays a role in other things, in other areas of your life as well. And then more importantly, or maybe most importantly, setting you up with the tools and knowledge to start beginning to harness and take advantage of your cycle in your life. So in this masterclass, kind of broken down into three main parts. The first part is diving into the foundations of better cycle health. And these might be things that you might not strictly think of as related to your cycle, but all four of these things, including sleep, nutrition, movement, and stress management, greatly impact the health of course, your overall health and your cycle health too. So we'll examine kind of best practices for these things as someone with a menstrual cycle and how they affect and interact with your cycle. And then the second part is what I call your sort of cycle sex ed. It's getting into the basics of your cycle, better understanding hormones and what role they play. And then really importantly, how to track your cycle. So you begin to not only understand the theoretical science of your cycle, but get really in tune with your personal experience of those changes and of the science, but like in real day-to-day experience. So let this serve as my invitation to you. If you have been feeling like your cycle is a nuisance or an inconvenience or frustrating or overwhelming, or you feel like you just don't understand it, or maybe it's a painful or stressful experience, or it's giving you anxiety, this is my invitation to you to sign up for this masterclass, because you're going to have that curtain drawn back and gain the awareness, but also gain the tools and the knowledge to begin to accept that your cycle doesn't have to be any of those things. Your cycle doesn't have to be scary or overwhelming or frustrating, and it certainly doesn't have to be painful. Instead, when you have the knowledge and tools that you need to understand it and harness it and take advantage of it in your life, your cycle can feel pleasurable and joyful and restful and powerful and even kind of magical and intuitive and just like a deeply connected part of you. Like a part of you that you really understand, a part of you that you feel like you can rely on, and maybe even a part of you that you like and you begin to feel grateful for. When you kind of live in harmony with your cycle, you'll start to feel that overall harmony, not just in your cycle, but in other areas of your life too. You can feel supported by your cycle and create a deeper sense of respect and understanding for yourself. Not only just your cycle, but as part of you, as not just part of you, but as all of you, or for all of you, I should say. So that's my invitation to you. If you are someone who wants to better understand your menstrual cycle, build healthier, happier, more pleasurable, less painful cycles, this is the masterclass for you. If you want to transform your relationship with your cycle from one of misunderstanding or frustration or anger into one of balance and harmony and understanding, this is the masterclass for you. If you're ready to step into that role of the person who's taking responsibility in their life, taking charge in their life, getting the education they want and deserve, and really dedicated to showing up for themselves and building healthy habits that really last and make a positive impact, this is the masterclass for you. If you're still not sure if it's for you and you're like, I don't know, send me a message, send me a DM, send me an email. I'll be happy to chat with you and about your specific situation and see if this is going to best serve you. See you on Saturday.